Belal Muhammad goes off on so-called expert doubters. Alexander Volkanovski unimpressed. Before you proceed, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and share for more updates on Savage fights. At Bulab 170, you have every reason to hate on what I said about you being a good stylistic matchup for me, but I truly believe that, even after your last fight, you didn't show me anything different, Volkanovski tweeted. You still mad because I accidentally missed your call? Pathetic. Say shut up. I'll smack the hell out of you to my face and see what happens. That's one cross-division encounter truly no one has ever thought about until right now. Thankfully, there's a 1% chance at best that it ever happens. In the octagon, anyway. Volkanovski wasn't the only one to doubt the new champion. More former champions broke down the Edwards rematch during fight week and were proved wrong, including one in Muhammad's division. I told you so. To all the people out there that will sit there and all these so-called experts, even these fighters. You had Demetrius Johnson thinking he's a great analyst. He sucks. Kamaru Usman sucks at analyzing stuff. All these guys, they don't know what they're talking about. When you get into the cage with me, it's different. When you get into the cage with me, you think it's slow. Then you get punched in the face, and you realize it's fast. Uncertain of his return, Muhammad noted how he hopes to make his first title defense in November or December, against who he expects to be the top undefeated 18-0 contender Shavkat Rakhmonov. Alexander Volkanovski slams pathetic Belal Muhammad as the new UFC champion fires back at three of his biggest critics. As Belal Muhammad states that he'd like to return in November or December, the new UFC champion is finding himself embroiled in arguments with three world-class former title holders. With a shiny gold UFC title now over his shoulder, Belal Muhammad is seemingly looking to start beef with a whole host of former champions, including the former featherweight king, Alexander the Great Volkanovski. Alexander Volkanovski fires back at pathetic Belal Muhammad. Given how the vast majority of both fans and fighters were picking Leon Edwards to retain his welterweight title last weekend, it's no surprise that new king Belal Muhammad was in a particularly bold I told you so type of mood yesterday. Speaking with John Anik and Kenny Florian, via their official YouTube channel, Muhammad would take aim at several former UFC champions for both their pre-UFC 304 predictions and their post-fight breakdown of his skill set, the first of which was the all-time featherweight great. Volkanovski said, "Man, I think Belal's a good matchup for me if I fight him. Shut up, bro. I'll smack the hell out of you. All these guys, there's nobody in the UFC that will beat me." It didn't take long for a clip of the call-out to reach Volkanovski, who took to X to post a rather backhanded message in response to the new welterweight champion's statement. You have every reason to hate on what I said about you being a good stylistic matchup for me, but I truly believe that, even after your last fight, you didn't show me anything different. You still mad because I accidentally missed your call? Pathetic. Never one to back down from a call-out, even with the size difference. Volkanovski also laughed at Muhammad for claiming that he'd fight him if they ever came face-to-face. Say shut up. I'll smack the shit out of you to my face and see what happens. Yet Volkanovski wasn't the only former champion who was in the crosshairs of Remember the Name, as the newly crowned 170 pounds champion also took aim at both Kamaru Usman and Demetrius Johnson. Muhammad takes aim at former champions Johnson and Usman. In the same interview with Anik and Florian, he would go on to slam both Johnson and Usman for their analysis of the title fight against Edwards, both heading into the PPV main event and in its aftermath. I just want to be like, I told you so to all the people out there, all these so-called experts, even these fighters. You have Demetrius Johnson thinking that he's a great analyst. He sucks. Kamaru Usman sucks at analyzing stuff. All these guys, they don't know what they're talking about. When you get in the cage with me, it's different. You think it's slow, and then you get punched in the face and think it's fast. A reminder that Demetrius Johnson once went on a 13-fight winning streak in the UFC and has 12 total title fight wins in the promotion, with Kamaru Usman also once riding a 15-fight winning streak, which included 6 title fight wins as he reigned as pound-for-pound king. Similar to Volkanovski, it didn't take long for both Usman and Johnson to respond to the call-out with the former welterweight champion stating, "Respectfully, it is slowly and kinda weak. Just saying. Ha ha ha, I love it. I stick to my guns. I thought Leon was gonna piece him up," wrote the former flyweight king, adding a laughing face emoji to the end of his X post. Luckily, Belal Muhammad will get the opportunity to prove the doubters wrong once again whenever he defends his welterweight title, and we've got an update on that front too. The new UFC welterweight champion wants Rakhmonov next. Following his dominant unanimous decision win in Manchester, Muhammad would later note that his next opponent would likely be in the form of 18-0 undefeated star Shavkat Nomad Rakhmonov. Well, according to Muhammad, that title fight will hopefully happen much sooner than anticipated. People are telling me that Shavkat's going to kill me. That's probably the first tweet that came out from my haters, right? I love that. I love that because I'm going to do the same thing to him. I'm going to go out there and I'm going to break him. Shavkat's next. After that, who's next? You got JDM. You got Ian Gary. It's going to be one of them. I think November or December would be the most ideal thing. I want to get one more in before the end of this year. A reminder that neither November nor December PPVs have been officially announced by the promotion, with November 9th reportedly targeted for UFC 309, potentially Jones versus Miocic in New York, and December 14th for UFC 310 in Las Vegas.